In 1961, archaeologist Nikolai Vlasa was excavating a burial site in Transylvania, a village called Tartaria in what is now Romania. In the pit, alongside the burned bones of an adult human, he found 3 small clay tablets. Break time. Slash. All of them were inscribed with symbols. Then the radiocarbon dating came back. JBC. Break time. M/, possibly older. If those dates are accurate, the Tartaria tablets are at least years older than the earliest known Sumerian writing. Break time, M's, they would be the oldest writing, or proto-writing, ever found. The problem is that nobody agrees on what they are. The symbols on the tablets are not random scratches. A break time, Eames. They're geometric, repeated, and arranged in a systematic way. Break time, Eames, M. Similar symbols appear across an enormous geographic area, from Romania and Bulgaria through Greece and into the Balkans, in what researchers call the Vinca culture. Break time. This symbol system appears on thousands of artifacts spanning over years, roughly E to E BC. That's not decoration. Break time. Decoration doesn't stay consistent across that time span and geographic range. Break time. Something is being communicated. The Vinca symbols include what look like abstract animals, geometric shapes, crosses, and something that resembles a counting or tallying system. Break time / Several researchers, most prominently Marija Gimbutas, argued these symbols constituted a genuine writing system, the world's first, predating Mesopotamian cuneiform by over a millennium. The case against writing, technically defined, has to represent language. Break time. It has to encode specific sounds or words in a way that allows information to be transmitted without the speaker being present. Break time. I'm / Most mainstream linguists and archaeologists argue that the Vinca symbols don't meet this bar. Break time. They might be property marks, ritual symbols, or a tallying system, but not writing in the way we use the word. The Tartaria tablets specifically are complicated by the fact that Vlasa burned the bones found with them before dating them, damaging the context. Break time, M/. Some researchers believe the tablets might have been redeposited in the burial, ancient objects brought from somewhere else rather than created by the Vinca people themselves. Here's what I find most interesting about this debate. The reason it matters is that writing is considered the marker of civilization. Break time, imps. If the Vinca culture had writing, then the most sophisticated symbolic communication system in the ancient world wasn't in Mesopotamia. Break times, it was in the Balkans. Break times, in a culture we know almost nothing about, that left no grand monuments, no palace economies, no grand narrative. The Vinca culture had copper metallurgy, among the earliest in the world. Break times, it had long-distance trade. Break times, it had dense settlements. Break times, it had a consistent symbolic tradition across centuries. And then, around 3500 BC, it contracted and declined, potentially due to climate shifts and the beginning of the steppe migrations that reshaped European genetics. The tablets are in the National History Museum of Romania in Cluj-Napoca. Break time? Break time if you look at the symbols and you can ask yourself what they mean. Nobody knows. Break time ems slash, that's the real answer. Break time, nobody has decoded the Vinca script with anything approaching consensus. Break time ems, we don't know if it's proto-writing, full writing, or something that doesn't fit our categories at all. 3 clay tablets, burned with a human body, 7,300 years ago. Someone wanted those symbols to go somewhere permanent. The deeper you go into this subject, the more you realize how much of the ancient world we're still reconstructing from fragments. For every site that has been excavated, dozens more remain untouched. Break time. Ground-penetrating radar and satellite imagery have transformed what archaeologists can identify without digging, and what they keep finding is that the ancient world was larger, more connected, and more sophisticated than the version that appears in most textbooks. The conventional history of civilization traces a clean line from Mesopotamia through Egypt, through Greece, through Rome, to the modern West. Break time. Slash. That story is real, but it's incomplete. Break time. Slash. It leaves out entire civilizations that developed in parallel, built impressive things, and then were erased from memory so thoroughly that we had to rediscover them in the eth and eth centuries. The pattern repeats across every civilization in this series. A society builds something extraordinary. Break time ems. It sustains itself for centuries, sometimes millennia. Break time ems. Then a combination of environmental pressure, political instability, and external shock pushes it past the point of recovery. Break time ems. The population disperses. Break time ems. The monumental architecture is abandoned to the weather. Break time ems. The writing system is forgotten. Break time and ems. The gods stop being worshipped. And then, hundreds or thousands of years later, a plow hits a stone, or a satellite detects a buried structure, or a researcher notices that a myth mentions a place that no one can find, and the long work of recovery begins. What we know about this civilization today is the product of that recovery work. Break time. The archaeologists who spent their careers in the field, often under difficult conditions, in countries that weren't always stable. Break time. The linguists who stared at undeciphered scripts until patterns emerged. Break time. The paleoclimatologists who drilled lake sediment cores to reconstruct rainfall patterns years ago. None of this was inevitable. Break time. Times slash. The clay tablets at Ugarit survived because they happened to be in a kiln when the city burned. Break time. The linear B tablets at Pylos survived because the fire that destroyed the palace was hot enough to fire the clay. Break time. 100 other archive rooms burned and left nothing. What we have is what chance preserved. And what we're still missing, the literature, the theology, the personal letters, the poetry, the arguments and the love stories and the complaints about bad harvests, is almost certainly larger than what survived. The ancient world was full of people who thought, worried, loved, argued, and built things they hoped would last. Break time, ems, most of what they made is gone. Break time, what we have is a fraction of a fraction. But that fraction is enough to know that the standard story progress marching steadily forward from primitive origins is wrong. Break time shesh. Complexity rises and falls. Break time, sophisticated societies emerge and collapse. Break time shesh. Knowledge is discovered and then lost and then rediscovered. The lesson isn't that civilization is fragile, though it is. Break time slash. The lesson is that human ingenuity shows up in every era, under every condition, in every corner of the world where people are trying to solve problems and make things that last. The mounds at Cahokia. Break time slash. The pillars at Gobekli Tepe. Break time the sewers at Mohenjo-Daro. Break time the peace treaty at Hattusa. Break time. The alphabet that Phoenician merchants scratched onto clay, and eventually, through a chain of borrowing that crossed a dozen cultures over 3,000 years, became the letters you're reading right now. That chain didn't have to hold. Break time, it nearly didn't. Several times. But it did, and somewhere under the fields and deserts and jungles of the ancient world, the next discovery is waiting. Break time. Us, the next tablet in the wrong kiln. Break time. The next footstep that catches on the edge of something buried. The work is nowhere near done.